For more than 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter in our community. From our studios in St. Clair, you're watching Focus with Paul Dingeman.
There we are. Welcome to another edition of the Focus program. Happy December 2018. Wow, this year just went. It went. They're going quicker, as they say. Welcome. We've got an interesting show lined up for you today. Lots of things happening in the Blue Water area, a revolving Christmas, and we're going to tell you about it, and we've got a good lineup of shows for the whole month of December. On my desk is a flyer that you've probably seen as you go to restaurants around the Blue Water area. It's promoting the Civic Women's Club of Marine Cities Holiday Home Tour coming up December the 8th from 5 till 9, and the ladies are here to tell us all about it. Pat Davis, welcome back to the Focus Show.
Thank you, Paul.
Susan, nice to see you. And down on the end, we've got Ann Billock. Nice to see you. Talk to me, ladies, about this year's home tour. How many years is it? Let's start there.
We're celebrating our 20th anniversary.
20th anniversary.
20 years now. And the excitement is that we've been able to have a variety of homes throughout the 20 years. And this year, we always say this year is going to be the biggest and the best because we get so excited about the homes that are there.
Right.
And we are really blessed this year with the style of homes that we have on tour. One of them, for example, is the Heather House, which a lot of local people, they go by, they see the structure, and we're going to get to tell you a little bit more detail on it. But they don't have the opportunity to go inside because they're not going to spend the weekend there. And then we also have, for example, the Lester House, where a lot of people have been really curious. So those are two like big featured, kind of commercial, but yet people are anxious to get inside.
I remember when the St. Clair Inn was open, people would say that. They would say, gee, I've never stayed there. I've never seen a room. I wonder what it looks like. Yeah. So same thing, same thought.
Yeah, so we're really excited. We have a great array of homes, along with the Red Brick Schoolhouse is going to be on tour with it. And
that's a classic building that's been certainly restored so lovingly by a group of volunteers.
Yep. Beautiful piece of history.
Okay. Well, let's get started. Which one? And you can tell us which one to start with, and Peter will throw the picture up of the building.
Okay. Well, first one on our list is the Shane home in Susan's.
And Peter, son. That's the last picture, I think. That's the. If you'll throw that picture up, Peter. Yep, that one there. Good. We got it in the back behind you here. It's a beautiful home. It happens to be here in St. Clair.
Yes. We were a little short on homes in the summer, and they were nervous that we might not have enough. So I said, well, gee, it's too bad that we couldn't put my son's home on it, but his home's in St. Clair. So some of the ladies got together and thought, well, why can't we put a St. Clair home on?
Brought it to a vote and said, yep, let's do that.
So my son graciously said yes, he'd be thrilled to have his home on the tour this year. I believe his home was built in 1890. Wow. And I know a little bit of history, but not much about it. The Bowmans owned it previous to my son, and they totally redid it. They bought it and flipped it, and my son and his spouse and their 2 boys moved here.
How old are the boys?
They're 9 and 14.
Oh, great ages, great.
So they're all real happy here in St. Clair. The boys like the school, and they're happy to be here. And the home at one time was owned by Senator Frank Beadle.
Correct.
He was in office, I believe, from 1950 to 1968. My son has...
That was before they had term limits. He was there for a long time.
My son has a large collection of Russian Santas. They were all hand-carved and painted in Russia. And he also has a Flemish-style harpsichord, which he will be happy to play some Christmas music on during the tour.
Is he a professional organist?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say he's professional. However, he has played all over Great Britain.
Oh.
And he's played with the Dallas Children's Symphony.
Wow.
And he's played in Atlanta.
Wow.
So he studied with Marilyn Mason at U of M.
Wow.
And Janet Linker at Capital University
Great.
in Ohio. And
Okay.
he's very
Well,
good.
the house, I had the opportunity to be in the house numbers of years ago, and it certainly is a treasure. And if it's been remodeled, and not remodeled, but brought up to date, it probably will even make it better. So
It's lovely.
okay, so that's our first house. Now what's our
Yes.
next house?
Our next one will be the Red Brick Schoolhouse.
Red Brick Schoolhouse,
And that's
and
located on
Peter has
Madison Road.
Peter has a shot of that. There it is, right there. And how old is the Red Brick Schoolhouse?
Well, it was built in 1872,
Wow.
and it's on its original site.
Yep.
And what's really nice is when I first moved back to the area, which was back in 1970, I was looking for a home to buy, and that actually was up for sale.
Really?
For a home to be purchased.
Oh my God.
And I tried to tell my husband into, well, this might be
And he didn't want to go
interesting.
back to school.
Yeah, he didn't like it when he was in. He didn't want to live there. So with that being said, I was so glad when they took it off the market and didn't sell it as a home to be rejuvenated and to keep it in its original.
So this was the East China School at the time, or was that China at the time?
No, I think it was, and I'm sorry to say I don't know the original name, but you know how they usually had a name of a family?
Yeah.
So that was way beyond the
I'll have to
consolidation
look that
of
up.
East China.
Now that there's a conversation about consolidating Marine City and St. Clair schools, this would certainly be, that's probably what it was back then.
Yeah,
So.
well, but back then it was probably, and I'm saying, like I said, I'm sorry, I don't know the original name, but what's really nice is they did take it off the market, they did restore it to its original authenticity, and now they have field trips. The kids love it. They go there and they dress up in that era, and they have field trips. They have meetings that they schedule there. And during the summer, from June through October, they're open the second Saturday of the month.
Okay.
So it's nice to have that available to the public.
Okay, and what's our next house?
Next house we're going to do is going to be the Todd and Serpania Ambrose house, and Ann will tell you about
Yes,
that.
and it's worth going. It's on Bell River Woods Boulevard, and so it's a little off the beaten track.
Okay, and it's a brown house for Peter?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a ranch.
Right.
There it is, right there.
It's very
Okay.
sprawling.
Yeah.
They've lived there 14 years. The gal who enlisted this house ran into the son, who was either coming in the service, and so we're saying that this is a tribute to her son who is in the service.
Okay.
Beautifully decorated. The basement especially, it's worth going down the basement, and she has a love of cardinals, so there'll be cardinals on many of the trees.
Okay.
So that's...
Well, you match the Cardinals with your red shirt.
Yes, I
today.
do. I don't sing very well, however.
All right, so that'll be a good one. What's next?
The next we have the Heather House.
The Heather House, okay. And the Heather House is just a magnificent piece of architecture, and there it is. No, that's the
Lester House.
Lester House. There we go with the
There it
Heather.
is.
Go ahead, tell me about that.
Well, the Heather House was, the people who turned it into a bed and breakfast were Bill and Heather Bachram.
Great people.
And they sold it to Mark and Helen Lally, who...
They really have a love of it, of that house. They used to
and-
stay there.
And they've done a wonderful job with it. There are 6 bedrooms. Each bedroom has a balcony and a suite-type bathroom along with it. All of the common rooms have a lovely view of the St. Clair River. And the kitchen has been redone. I know Helen and Bill redid it, and it's gorgeous. I don't know if any of the visitors get to go and see the kitchen, but it's the whole
the food's
house
good.
is lovely. Everything is good there. It's beautiful.
A little bit of history with it. The Sauber family here in St. Clair, I'm friends with one of the daughters, and her great-grandfather is the original person who built Captain Sauber. And he built it right there on that point so that when his ship would be coming down the St. Clair River, his wife was able to see him.
Is it the footprint we see now of that house? Is that the original house, or was there some additions?
The addition near the back,
And on
the northwest side, with Heather Bachram had it. They
Yeah.
added on at that point. But
It's a gorgeous
other
house.
than that, and they did a wonderful job with the addition because
Yeah,
it's hard to see
Yeah,
what
you
is the
can't tell the
addition and what's
difference. You
original.
can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
All right, so then we've got, I think, the Lester house.
Yep, now we go to the Lester home, and this one again has tours that they conduct on their own, but so many people in town haven't had the opportunity to go through, so we were very grateful when they conceded. It was actually built in 1849. It was built as a Greek revival home, and 31 years later, they put some addition onto it that turned it into an Italian type home.
Oh, okay.
And when I was a little girl, which was a few years ago, Bernard Rose at that time lived there with his sister. And then across the street, which is now the museum, the Marine City Museum, Historical Museum, that was the library at the time.
Okay.
So
okay.
as a little girl, we would enjoy going to the library and then
Yeah.
looking at this wonderful home.
Yeah.
And then as life went on, it was eventually turned into 5 apartments. So a lot of people in town had an opportunity to live there, but it didn't have the one home grandeur
Right,
like you would.
right.
So back, the home was eventually sold to Captain Lester's great-grandson, William, and that happened in 2003. And as a dedication and a tribute to his great-grandfather, who I believe was the original person that owned that home, they restored it to all of its original grandeur. And now people not only have a chance to see this beautiful piece of architecture, but the collections that they have inside. There's a shipbuilding collection. I guess there's a beautiful dollhouse that we'll be seeing. There's 4 fireplaces.
Wow.
There's a game room for children. So it's available. People have had, my friend had her wedding there.
I was going to say, there's been a lot of weddings there over the years, last
Yeah.
few years, and
So it's
been restored.
It's a nice social gathering place.
Yeah.
But great opportunity for people that have said, gee, I'd really like to go in
Right.
there, and now they're going to have a chance and an opportunity to see
Have
it.
we missed anything?
No, fine,
The-
our
the
last
la-
one.
All right,
Last
so now we
one.
got to talk about
Well,
the
we
date.
do have one more.
Oh, we do have one more.
This is an intriguing one. It's a duplex right on the river.
Okay.
Pete and Karen Mason Kennedy.
Oh, there it is. Yep. Oh, I see that it is
Yes.
duplex. I didn't.
It was built in '39 by 2 brothers, one an architect and one an engineer. And the Mason family, evidently, I am not from this area originally, but evidently in Cotterville and Marine City, Mason is
Big name.
Yes. The owners now, I don't know if they've moved in yet, but they were in the process of moving when we, consigned the home. And they were going to live in the one side and rent out the other. It's unbelievable. You walk in and you think, oh, this, even the bench that you would sit on to take off your shoes or whatever, it's unique. I'm not even going to tell you what it is.
Oh, okay.
It's really clever.
Okay. It's really clever.
It's a 2-story,
Okay.
nautically themed. And just
Is it on the river?
yes, it's on the river, and it's too bad that we can't have lights outside or something because it's spectacular from the riverside too. It's and it has an upstairs. I cannot remember how many it sleeps, but a whole lot. I mean, it's a large.
It's down. It's in Cotterville.
Yes, it's in Cotterville.
Okay.
And I know what I have to say. The entrance, 2 great big giant trees, and he has the life preservers on either
okay.
tree so that
Okay.
you can get in,
Okay.
or so that you can see where it is.
Recognize the place.
And there's a big red barn or garage, maybe not a barn, but a garage that is right in front.
Well, I
of-
think your addition of homes in the north and in the south has really added to the whole home to the
We
Civic
hope so,
Women's
yeah.
League's home tour, holiday home tour. I think you've got some real nice additions.
We do. It's going to
Yeah.
be a great year
Yeah.
for it.
Okay. Now, the important thing, when's the date?
Ah.
What's the time? Where can I get tickets and how much are the tickets?
Great questions. The date is Saturday, December 8th. It's always the second Saturday of December.
Okay.
And the time will be from 5 till 9,
Okay.
which gives you enough time to tour from St. Clair down
Yeah,
into
yeah.
the south end. And then a lot of people enjoy going into town, having dinner before or after the tour too.
Right.
So tickets were there available, and we had quite an extra addition of people who offered to sell the tickets for us. So we
Wow, you
we
did.
go to Vera Grace and Etta Mae's, the Sweet Tooth, the Riviera,
Right.
Simply Marcella, Coghlan Jewelers, both St. Clair and Marine City, Suzanne's Fashion, Marysville, Pride and Heritage Museum, and Parkside Printing. So we have a lot of merchants that have stepped up to the plate and said they really believe in what we do. Because I think what the important thing to emphasize too is the money that we receive from this. This is our largest fundraiser. And there are basically 3 areas that we contribute our money to. Number 1 is for the park downtown. The park is the River Park, and that's one that's right across the street from the Sweet Tooth.
That's where everybody buys their ice cream from Todd, and
That's
they
right.
walk across the street and spend a half hour
That's
enjoying
right.
the river.
That's right.
That's a
And-
park. You've done a wonderful job in that park.
Well, and it's for somebody to join our group, and we have that out there. If you are interested, we can contact the phone number on our tickets and flyers.
Okay.
But the only qualification we have is if you love Marine City, we'd love to have you in our group.
Good.
Because it is all volunteer work, and we have a wonderful system with a wonderful group of dedicated women that we each take turns on maintaining, cleaning, picking up, weeding, making that park look nice. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, we have short-term goals and long-term goals. We have just applied for our 501c3, so we are now looking at applying for grants and donations, and we do in our long-term goals, I mean, we've got some wonderful sites in store to really refurbish and make it a
Oh, great.
beautiful
Well, it looks
setting.
nice now, but I know you've got some good ideas, so
Yeah.
you'll keep it growing and keep it going, looking beautiful.
Great.
Well, thank you, ladies. Have we missed anything? Have we got it all?
I don't think
I
so.
think
Happy
so.
holidays to all 3 of
Thank
you.
you,
You do,
you
and
too.
say
Thank you.
hello to Lou. She's always normally
Yes.
with you, and she's got a little
Yes.
cold today. So,
Yes.
but you were a good substitute.
Oh, well,
Thank
good.
you.
Well,
Good seeing you, Ann.
Nice to see you.
Very nice to have seen you again. And
thank you.
Pat, it's always a pleasure. Coming up next, we've got the new major from the Salvation Army in Port Huron, and he's going to talk to us about the bell ringing that's going to go on at Neiman's Family Market in the next 2 weekends. So stay tuned for that. We'll be right back. Each year, the St. Clair Rotary gets involved with a wonderful organization called the Salvation Army, and specifically the Salvation Army, which is located in Port Huron, Michigan. And with us today are a couple of the committee members from the St. Clair Rotary. We're going to talk about the bell ringing project. But first, we want to meet the new major, Major Wesley Dahlberg. Good
Yep.
Irishman.
Yeah. Svenska.
Welcome, sir, to Port Huron. Let's talk about you.
Okay. What would you like to know about me?
Well, where'd you come from, and how long you been with the Army?
Okay, well, I came here from Decatur, Illinois,
Okay.
which is a town in central Illinois between Springfield and Champaign.
Yeah.
And we were there for 6 years, and then they said, we need you to go to Port Huron. So here I am.
Straighten out Jerry.
Well, that's a big job.
That's correct.
I
That's correct.
retire in 5 years. I'm not sure I have enough time.
Get it done.
It may take all 5 years, but we love Jerry. So Decatur about the same size as Port Huron?
The county we served is in Illinois was about the same size as St. Clair County, yeah.
So, and the establishment here of the Army has been successful for great, over 100 years, I believe.
Yes, the Salvation Army, in the Salvation Army world, Port Huron is a big deal.
Okay.
It's known not just in Michigan, but it's known all across the Midwest for its band and
Yep.
all of those things that happen here in Port Huron. So.
Talk to me about the needs this year, 2018, 2019, of the Salvation Army in St. Clair County.
Well, we've taken applications for families to help during the holiday season. Over 600 families will assist in St. Clair County, and so it's maybe about the same as last year from what they tell me. And so it's still a lot of people in need. I believe the number of children is some 1,900 children in that represented in those families that will provide toys, and of course will provide a holiday meal for them as well. So it's kind of what we do this time of year, but it's a big job, so we need lots of help like from these guys.
Yep, and they're doing it. Mr. Mason, Mr. Livingston, you've been doing this bell ringing for how many years now, you guys? Or the Rotary, how long has the Rotary been doing it?
Jerry and I were trying to think of that earlier, and I think we're into 12, 13 years now that we've been handling it, and Rotary's been doing it since probably when Rotary started back in St. Clair. Yeah. So,
23 or 24?
And that's always been a tradition with the St. Clair Rotary.
I think Ralph's right. We looked back into the records of the St. Clair Rotary Club, which has been around since 1924, April 22nd, 1924 to be exact. And as far back as we can look in the records, we've been doing Christmas for the Salvation Army. It's just what we do.
Good combination.
And when I came in to the Rotary Club, I got put on Ralph's committee for the Salvation Army, and we have worked together. We've co-chaired that committee. Some years he's chair, some years I'm chair, some years we're co-chair. We don't care. We just have fun and get it done.
All right, so you've got a plan, and the plan is to ring bells, and you've expanded over the years. Let's first start, when are the dates you guys are going to be, and where are you going to be?
Always in the front door of Neiman's grocery store in St. Clair.
Okay.
We're always there. They've been very gracious with letting us just kind of camp out there for 2 weekends. The weekends this year is December 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then the 13th, 14th, and 15th. And we'll be covering the shifts from 9 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night.
9 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night.
Yep.
For 3 days.
Yep. We've got 12 shifts.
How many bodies is that?
That's 72 shifts, and we try and get at least, well, we get 1 person per shift and maybe get 2. So
wow.
We're running 72 shifts for the next 2 weekends.
Ooh, that's lots of people. That's lots of people.
Yeah, it's
I've had the honor of doing it a number of years myself, and I remember some of those days the wind was right out of the west, snowing and ice and freezing, but you still keep ringing.
You keep ringing. Yep.
Ringing.
You just got to kind of dress accordingly and run inside and grab a hot chocolate from Neiman's and try and warm up and keep going.
Okay.
So.
What kinds of numbers are you looking for? What dollars? How can people help? Can they write checks and drop them off? Talk to me about money.
Sure. Last year we raised over $23,000.
$23,000.
We always finish first in the county, and we're proud of that. And it's the community that gives. Each kettle, as Ralph will tell you, is good for about maybe $300 to $500 a day, and we cover 6 days. So that's $3,000, but we're $23,000. So that is Rotary members and just people in the community coming and putting checks in the kettle when we're out there ringing. And it's going to be special this year. We're doing something a little bit, we're adding a little bit to it.
Okay.
It's called Ring for Bling.
Okay.
Ring for Bling with Coughlin's Jewelers.
Oh, okay.
So we've got a group of people that ring with us and help us, Paul. And among the ringers from Neiman's, 1 person will win or has the opportunity to win a $250 gift certificate
to
Coughlin's Jewelers. But
how do you do it?
Well, you got to sign up to ring, and if your name gets drawn, you win a gift certificate. But Tim Coughlin wanted to do more. He said, Jerry, on Saturday the 15th, the last day that Rotary does its bell ringing, because Tim's a Rotarian,
right.
He said, I would like to have a kettle at my store. And I'd like to have the Salvation Army band. And I said, well, I don't know if I can get you the band because they're busy. They have a lot of obligations.
Right,
They've got a concert the following day. We'll see what we can do. But Tim says, anybody that comes in and gives to the kettle, makes a donation at Coughlin's Jewelers in St. Clair on Saturday the 15th, will be entered to win a diamond necklace.
Oh, okay.
So we're calling it Ring for Bling. The Major and I learned about that when we were at a function together in Detroit. And we thought that was a good idea, and we'd bring that back here to St. Clair County.
So there's actually, from Coghlan's, there's two opportunities. One, if I sign up to volunteer, I put my name in the hat for a $250 gift certificate.
That's right.
Number two, if I go to Coghlan's on December 14th,
15th, Saturday the 15th.
then I can register to buy, I can
Make a
make
donation
a
in the
donation,
kettle.
and you get to get your hat and the ring for a diamond necklace.
Isn't that something?
It's spectacular, spectacular.
That's for ringing through our Rotary
Yeah.
group and everything.
Okay.
So,
But your Rotary group has expanded, and I'm impressed with that information too. Well, you have added tons of people, and Jerry was responsible for that, and Ralph. The St. Clair High School middle school band, St. Clair High School band, the School for Strings, Crossroads Community, St. Clair County Sheriff's Department, St. Clair County Prosecuting Attorney, St. Clair High School National Honor Society, Junior Honor Society. Jerry, you really did a great job, Ralph.
Well, God gets the glory. I create chaos, Ralph organizes it.
Well, I won't deny that. I won't vote against that.
Ralph can organize anything, and Ken Schultz is helping us this year too, because we've just got a lot going on. When the bands come, we really got coordination to take place, but I try to get people involved. Most people want to get involved. They want to be asked to help, and they want to help. And so when those opportunities present themselves, I send it to Ralph. I don't have to worry about it. It's done. They're plugged in, and they get a chance to have a good experience ringing the bell.
Okay.
And it changes lives. It saves lives. And when you give 87 cents on every dollar goes directly to those in need right here in St. Clair County. It'll stay in St. Clair County.
When did you arrive? Which month?
I got here June the 2nd.
So
Excuse me, July the 2nd.
So you had an opportunity to see our wonderful blue water area, and the sailboats and the freighters, and so are you loving our area? There's nothing like that in DeKalb, Illinois.
No. We had a lake in our community. It was a pond. So yes, we love the beauty of God's creation here a lot. Even the cold weather so far hasn't been that oppressive.
Well, we'll try and beef that up a little bit for you.
Oh, thanks.
There's still time.
Just
trust
hang
me.
in there.
how about after the 15th?
Yeah, after the 15th.
Yeah.
Well, you've got two good guys working with you, so we salute them and you for all the things that'll be done. What's the goal for 2019 for the Port Huron Salvation Army?
Well, the goal for the red kettles themselves is about $160,000. Our overall Christmas goal is $365,000.
Okay, wonderful. So you're on your way.
We are. And these guys are going to work really hard to help us get there.
Right.
No, you know, Paul, we should talk about this. The Salvation Army meets needs all year round, not just at Christmas time.
Correct.
And we help fight human trafficking. A lot of people don't know that, but we do. We meet the needs of individuals. Just here in St. Clair County, 3,000 people a year. Somebody's house burns down, we send a canteen, we send blankets, we send stuffed animals, we do whatever we can. Now that the Red Cross has left St. Clair County, we go in and pick up where they left off and make sure that we get folks into a hotel and just be there to comfort them. If somebody doesn't have enough money for heat, we take care of it. I love to tell this story about the Salvation Army store. The old Major Mark Turner, we were looking at the potential for a store site. And
all majors are old.
Somebody, our former major, let me rephrase it, our former major. So somebody made a comment that there was 2 sets of doors, and one of the people who was with us, the real estate agent, or somebody made a comment, well, you're going to have to do something about those doors because someone could steal something. And the major said, if they can't afford it, we'll give it to them.
Right.
You know, because we have our thrift store up in Port Huron, which has very good, high-quality things, and we use that to help meet people's needs and work with other groups around the county just to meet people's needs so people know, number one, that God loves them. Number two, that we love them and we care about them. And number three, that there's hope. And there's something very important that the major, I'm sure, add to this. We don't judge people when they come to the Salvation Army. We don't ask why you got in trouble, how you got in trouble. what'd you do right, what'd you do wrong. We help people without discrimination based on the love of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
That's what we do all year round, 365 days a year. This is very important for us because Christmas is such an important time of year, and for some people a very stressful time of year. But we serve St. Clair County all year round for over 134 years now. Is that right?
Somewhere, yeah, pretty close.
1888, I think, is the year.
Wonderful work. All right, gentlemen, let's go through the dates again.
Well, we start out next Thursday, December 6th, Friday 7th, and the 8th, and then we go into the next weekend for the 13th, 14th, and 15th.
All at Neiman's Family Market.
All at Neiman's, with the exception, we are going to have the kettle on the 15th at
Yeah.
Cockman's Jewelry, just to kind of
Nine-
round out the system. Or
From 9 till 8, or do I have it backwards?
9 till 8, yes.
9 till 8.
9 till 8.
You've got it right, Paul. You've always got
Always.
it right.
Try.
Yep.
I try.
No, we're just trying to meet the need.
Very nice to have met you. Welcome to the community.
Thank
We're
you.
glad you're here. Take good care of these two, will you?
I will do my best.
Ralph?
Paul,
you
always
sure?
a pleasure.
Merry
I'm not-
Christmas.
You got a cold. I'm
Merry
not touching
Christmas.
your hand. You're sick. You need 2 aspirin and call me in the morning.
No, I'm fine. I feel great.
Oh, I know
Thanks
you
for
look,
having us
you
on.
look great. Not a problem. That's about it for this edition of the Focus program. Thanks very much for tuning in. Till next time, I'm Paul Dingeman. See you next week.
Thanks for watching Focus with Paul Dingeman. Focus is produced at the CTV Community Television Studios in St. Clair. For over 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter to our community.